Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution. What's going on with the hair up here? Good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1145. 1145. Happy Hump Day, Wednesday. It's not so happy in Wisconsin where we have a bunch of fucking snow. Yeah, it's fucking snow today. I hate shoveled last night. It's still coming down. I don't know how much we have. A lot. Several inches. 6. I don't know. I haven't watched the news, but I had to go outside last night and enough to snow blow. Well, if it wasn't so damn heavy and wet, I was only able to snow blow 2 lines, and it kept dying. When I'm so pissed at the weather. Like, today's Wednesday. Monday, it's cold, it's gray, and I'm mad because it's April. It should be sunny and warmer than 35 degrees at 1 p.m. And I'm just looking out the window, just then yesterday morning is no better. It's even worse. It's raining. It's 35 degrees and it's gray and it's raining. And then it gets worse. Then it starts sleeting. It's cold and sleeting. And then it gets even worse. It starts snowing. We got a little thunder snow. A lot of thunder snow. And it snowed and snowed. I went to the post office 4 o'clock, whatever time it was, 4:30. The Beltline, which is like an interstate that runs around the city of Madison. Typically, Wisconsin drivers can drive better in snow than they can in rain. If it's raining, it's just get out of my way. You slow-ass Prius drivers, get out of my way. Can you tell I'm a little bitter this morning? Fucking snow. So yesterday I go to the post office and the roads are shit because it's wet, it's heavy, it's slushy, it's blowing really hard, so it's like blizzard-like conditions. They're telling you to stay home, but I've got to go to the post office and to get some beer because I don't want to be sober for this snowstorm. So I go to the Beltline, like the interstate that runs around Madison. It's at a crawl. It's like 15 miles an hour. It's like, oh my God. I get the whole time I'm like dropping F-bombs in my car by myself. So I get home from the post office, pretend the snow's not happening. And I realize, shit, I've got to go outside at least to shovel a path for Biscuit so she can potty. It's still snowing. I'm like, I'll just wait till after dinner. At least we get more light. At least there's one positive to all this. It's April. We've got daylight savings, so we get an extra hour of daylight to see this fucking snow. Apologies for all the F-bombs this morning. So after dinner, I go outside. I fire up the snowblower. Of course, snowblowers never work on the first time. And just as you're starting to flip the switch down or, slide that choke thing, and it dies. And of course, it doesn't start right back up. You've just got to stand there and drop F-bombs watching it snow. So I got it to work after a few tries. And it's gumming up with all the heavy wet snow. And I've got like a smaller, I think it's a 1-stage. I don't have the big meaty 2-stage. Although I might be shopping for one of those this year because I don't want to deal with this bullshit next year again. So I get one path down. I was able to get the sidewalk. So I got the sidewalk, which it's been snowing, so I probably didn't do anything. Probably just snowed over it. And it's just like the sidewalk's just like, it's basically just water with snow on top. And so I get through that and I come up the driveway and it's all just clogged. And I'm digging. I'm like, finally it dies like 3 more times. I'm like, I'm done. So I pushed the snowblower back into the garage and got the damn shovel. And it's a heart attack snow. Like, it's heavy and wet. I'm like, this is how I'm going to go. 50 cards away from $1 million. And I'm going to have a heart attack shoveling this wet ass heavy snow in April. But I got through it unscathed. But Philly Joe's in there. But I come back in. I turn the Cubs game on and they win in blowout fashion. They beat the Rockies, 12-2. Got the game in. Got some cool news. Luke Little is going to start today's game or tonight's game, whatever. I don't even know what time it starts. But I've got to know, I don't know Luke that well. I've met him a few times, but I know his parents really well. And we've hung out at spring training each of the last 3 years. Hung out at the Cubs convention. They come over to the tailgate. And so awesome for them. He actually pitched the last inning last night. And he's going to pitch the first inning today. So was surprised because they called up Ben Brown. It's like, well, Ben Brown's probably going to be the starter, but apparently I'm assuming Luke's going to go in, start the game, and then it's going to be like essentially a bullpen game today for the Cubs and Rockies. So that's cool. It was also, what a day for Luke Little. It was also announced Traverse City, I believe is the Northwoods League. College league. That's where he played in college. They're going to do a Luke Little bobblehead this year. So I'm going to be on eBay looking for that this year. So that's really cool. Excited for Luke and the Little family. What else is going on? It's still snowing. My Goodwill pallet is about as good as the weather right now in Wisconsin. It's kind of a shitty pallet. There's been some decent stuff. I showed off some of the stuff that I pulled out. There is so much junk wax. Though I guess the one bright spot is a lot of the junk wax is at least labeled. Most of it's hockey, of all things. Like early 90s Score and Upper Deck hockey. So it's probably going to sit on a shelf until somebody says, hey, do you have any 1990 Score hockey? Yes. It's right next to all my Toronto Blue Jays cards. I did find a Tony Gwynn rookie, Tony Gwynn Fleer rookie, like randomly in the middle of one of these junk wax boxes. There's still quite a few boxes to go through, but it looks like it's just going to be a lot of junk wax. Surprisingly, the best cards have come out of the trash bag. Fortunately, all the cards in the trash bag were penny sleeved. But it's still going to be, even though it's one of the crappier Goodwill pallets I've bought, it'll still be profitable. There's some decent stuff. There's some $10, $20 cards, a lot of $1.50 cards. And I'm going to fill about 3 quarter boxes. I've already filled 2 football boxes, and I'm probably going to fill 1 baseball box. So not much modern. So there hasn't been too many cards that I can push to my customer that buys certain players. So far, I've maybe like $5 to $10 worth of cards for him. So Nothing big found, but that you never know. This is also one of those boxes that, or pallets that this is like ripe for something big. And what I mean, not big, but something that you wouldn't expect, because it looks like on the surface, it looks like just a bunch of junk, but there's a Tony Gwynn rookie just hiding in plain sight. So maybe there's more of that. So I still have quite a few boxes. Oh, yawn. Still have quite a few. It's 7:30. Boy, I was late this morning, wasn't I? I still have quite a few boxes to go through. So I'll be going through that. Trying to catch up on shipping. We are closing in on 1 million Cubs cards. What's the count up to? 999,928. So I'll be putting up 999,929. Then I got a mail day, so that's going to bump it up. So we won't be going one at a time all the way to 1 million. So I've got a group of cards that I'll show off in a recent mail day. We're going to talk about Bowman. Bowman pre-order went live on Topps.com yesterday. My hot take: it's not overpriced, but I will tell you, retail is the better buy. What? Why would I say that? Why would I say it's not overpriced, but buy retail instead? Disclosure, I did buy some hobby. I bought 3 hobby boxes yesterday on the pre-order. So eBay store, I added some, let's see, Jackson Holiday, Adley Rushman, Wyatt Langford, which already sold. What's in here? So a bunch of like baseball prospects and rookies in my eBay store, 99centcards.com. You'll save even more when you buy 7 or more at regular price, 25% off at checkout. Link also in the description. So I added about 150 cards last night. And I still kind of not buried, but I've got a lot of over 200 orders to ship. So I'll be shipping today. George is in the house. What's going on, George? We're going to talk about Bowman. George says it's overpriced for someone like me. Maybe not for someone in the business of selling. And that's a good point, which I want to bring up. I'm going to star this because we're going to come back to that comment from George. James says blasters are the way to go with Bowman. The jumbos are $100 more than last year. There was a slight increase. I think we have revisionist history when it comes to prices, because prices are actually lower than what they were 2 years ago. 2022, I think pre-order at Topps on hobby boxes was $300, and it was $260 this year. I think it was $250 last year pre-order at Topps. I did not order hobby last year from Topps. I ordered blasters, so I can't go into my account and look. Let's see. Max says temps at like 150 in here. Why is it 4 times better than 5 years ago? Keep giving him a leash. I don't know what that means. Temps at like 150 in here. Why is it 4 times better than 5 years ago? Good morning, Kyle. What's happening? George says, in all seriousness on my part, pretty much 90% of the products are overpriced for the normal collectors that aren't into gambling or selling. My comment of Sharpie on TP stands tall. And I think that is a tale as old as time. You know, you can go back and you can look at a reader's right from Beckett in 1992, and you're going to find many people writing in to Beckett saying, it's just, I'm priced out of the hobby. I can't afford dollar packs anymore. And it happened 30 years ago. It's happening today, and it's going to happen 30 years from now. We're always going to be overpriced. And in 30 years, we're going to look back. Oh my God. Can you believe Bowman was only $260 for a hobby box? In 30 years, It's going to be 1,200. Who knows? Good morning, Andy Mack. What's happening? George says new products just no longer tickle my taint. Mikey's excited for Bowman. Tracy's in the house. Dan is here. Orlando, what's up? Philly Joe, good morning. Victor, go Cubs. Big, nice win last night. Red Light says, keep that snow shit up there. Yeah, I don't want to. It should have stayed in Minnesota. It's still snowing. Orlando says, no snow or rain in South Florida. I'm on the next flight. Philly Joe says it's rainy and cold. Go Phils. Good morning, Peter. David's in the house. What's happening? T206 kid, what's going on? Had wind, rain, hail, and tornadoes in the Louisville area yesterday. Thankfully, I was in the one area that missed the bad stuff. We talked about it the other day. I'll take tornadic weather over this bullshit snow. Now, again, I don't want the tornado to do damage. I just want tornadic weather. I'm not saying I want tornadoes to take out homes and farms and stuff. I just want tornadic weather. A little funnel cloud drop out of the sky, bad thunderstorm. None of this snow, not in April. Art, what's up? Catching strays out here as a slow-ass Prius driver. Good morning. Yes, you slow-ass Prius drivers. Hey, and the Subarus aren't much better. There's always, and it's just, whenever there's a chain of cars, and there's one car holding up the line, it's always a Prius. Kyle, good morning. You might be a redneck if you go out in a blizzard because you need beer. Yes, that is a necessity. While others go out and buy bread, milk, and eggs, you go buy some spotted cow. Justin, what's up, my man? Good morning. So close to 1 million. We're going to hit 1 million this Friday, so stay tuned. I'll keep counting up on Twitter. And this Friday, stay tuned. And I keep saying this. You're going to find out what's going to happen eventually. Well, you're going to find out a little bit more. I don't know what the 1 millionth card will be. I know where it's going to happen. I know who's going to give it to me. I just don't know what it's going to be. So stay tuned. You'll find out. And if you don't find out today or tomorrow, you'll find out Friday. You will find out. I just don't know when. We'll see. Jonathan, good morning. Andy Mack, my battery-powered snowblower works great. My one-stage gas snowblower works okay. It did not work well today. Mr. Archer, good morning. Or yesterday, I should say. Mikey says, are you too lazy to use a shovel? No, I'm just too smart to not use a shovel. Why use a shovel when you can use a snowblower? Come on. Work smarter, not harder. Good morning, Stuke. What's going on? Philly Joe says, your Cubs won. Relax and count your blessings. There you go. Andy Mack says, I don't change my own oil either. That's why I use battery-powered everything for yard work. That's a good point. I use, my lawnmower's not battery-powered. But I use a battery-powered leaf blower and weed whacker. Stuke says, glad you survived the wet, heavy, sticky crap. It's a bunch of bullshit is what it is. And I haven't survived it yet because I've got to go back out for round 2 at some point today. I'm hoping, I was looking at the forecast like, is it going to be warm enough to melt this shit tomorrow? Because I don't want to go back out here and snow blow. Where it is. Weather. My location. Yep, we're going to have this bullshit snow the rest of the morning. Jeez, ooks. 35 is the high today, so we're not going to get much melt. 40 and 42, 48 on Saturday. Well, yesterday, the forecast yesterday had us at 73 on Tuesday. Now it's only going to be 59. That's some horse shit, too. This weather's making me grouchy. Steve, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Cubs win and Luke is starting tonight. It is a night game. I implore all Cubs fans to come together and root the little family on. Hell yeah. Mark says, good morning. Positive spin on the crappy weather in New York is that the Mets game was postponed so they couldn't lose. There you go. There you go. T206 Kid says, I wanted to go to Cincy Sunday to see the Mets. I am questioning buying tickets and making the 90-minute drive. Mark says he wouldn't go if he lived next to the stadium. Max says, you said hot take. Aha. I'm a little slow this morning. Let's see. T206 Kid says, my wife actually wants to go. She didn't know a thing about baseball before me, but now she enjoys going to the games. See, my wife and I had a honeymoon phase on baseball where it also coincided like our early, I guess we were dating and then engaged when the Cubs were starting to win and then won the World Series. And then after that, it's like, you can have your baseball. Give me my reality TV. So it's kind of gone the opposite way. Good morning, DPM Sports Cards. Unicorn Cupcake says, remember the mid-90s Bowman redemption? Yes, I do. Yes, I still have some of those the redemption cards, just for kind of like by the way, Unicorn Cupcake is who I bought I don't have them in here anymore, but the Price Guy or the encyclopedia and the reprint of the first Beckett. I like keeping stuff like that around just as so we can go back and we can say, remember this, because we do tend to, and I had a conversation about this in a group chat I'm in regarding the Beckett pricing. And it's like, a lot of people are now blaming Fanatics. And it's like, Topps was doing this before Fanatics. Like, this is not Fanatics just coming in and jacking up prices. Like, this has been going on. Like, I stopped buying Bowman Hobby in 2018. That was long before Fanatics took over. So I like to go back and it's like, it wasn't like this in the 90s. We could afford everything in the 90s. No, there were still people complaining about prices in the early 90s. We can go back, look at old Beckett's, and that's why I have them. See? It wasn't all unicorns and rainbows in 1991. But yes, it was 98 and 99, I think they did it. Maybe again in 2000. I know for sure in 1998. And even at the time, it's like, man, because Bowman, and this is why I think I have a soft spot for Bowman. Bowman was my very first hobby box that I ever bought and ripped for baseball. 1998 Bowman. And I remember the $125 redemption. If you completed the set, you could send the set to Bowman or Topps, and they would give you $125 or something to that effect. And at the time, I'm like, wow, that's a pretty good deal, because I can't remember what I paid for a hobby box of 98 Bowman back then. Probably 50. I mean, it was probably $50, almost 20 years, I guess. Yeah. Well, that's 15. Wait, 25 years ago. 25. Geez, we're getting old. 25 years ago. In some instances, prices, haven't really fluctuated. Now you'll say, well, $50 to 260. But it didn't really jump until 2018. So we really went 20 years with minimal pricing, because I think in 2017, I think I paid less than $70. I think I paid like $68 per box, the case I bought. But then it was jacked up. And then 2018, thank you, Aaron Judge, for, putting the hobby on a fast track. It went up to like $100 a box, and it's like, oh, I'm out. I'm done. Now it's like $100 a box. Give me it all. Give me it all. And I remember thinking $125 for the set. Ooh, that's a pretty good deal. And I should have taken it. Should have completed that set and cashed out, but I didn't. George says, I'm not priced out. Actually, just choose to participate in a non-ripping fashion. I saw the light of singles as a single, and the water is fine. Absolutely. And that's the thought process I wish everybody thought like George, because I like this thought process, and this is very accurate. In 2017, I was ripping and flipping, and I bought a case, and I think my case was $700 and some for Bowman. $797, I think, was the price. Just a hair under $800 for an entire case of 2017 Bowman. I lost my ass because this was brought up in my chat yesterday, where it's like, well, before 5 years ago, you could buy a case or buy a box and you'd get X amount of your money back. And it's like, no, that wasn't always the case. Like, you're having revisionist history here. And because in 2017, I paid $797 for an entire case of Bowman. I pulled the case hit chrome auto, base auto. No, it wasn't Acuna at the time. At release, it was Kevin Maitan. It sold for $125, which was the equivalent to almost 2 boxes. And I still lost my ass on that case. I probably netted $400, $500 net on an $800 case of Bowman, and I sold everything. Even the Cubs back then. That was before, it was early 2017, so I wasn't hoarding Cubs. So I sold everything, still lost my ass. Now, there's been other products. Top Series 1, I'd made a killing on my case this year, but it's overpriced. Last year, my 10 Bowman Blasters, I made a killing on that, but it's overpriced. We'll see how my 3 hobby boxes do. Now, my autos will probably suck. It's spring training. I bought 2 Bowman Chrome boxes just for fun. It was not for ROI. And the thing is, in some cases, I don't care about ROI. If it's a price, if I have $250 to spend and I want to spend it on Bowman, I don't care. Do I fully not care? Not really. I mean, I wish that I would get a big card, but don't we all? It's kind of like my collection, my Cubs collection. Newspaper was here last week, said, what's your most, because everybody asks, what's your most expensive card? And it's like, I don't know. Like, what's the most expensive I paid? Well, I paid this and this, but I don't know what it's worth today because I don't care. Do I not care fully? No, that's incorrect, because I do care. If something were to happen where I would have to sell my Cubs collection, I don't want it to go down in price. But at this point in time, I don't need to sell my Cubs cards. So I don't care what they're worth. Do I want them to go up? Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's how I take my hobby boxes when I'm ripping for fun. Now, these 3 hobby boxes, this is more of a business rip, but I know the business behind hobby boxes. And you're like, well, that's a silly purchase then. If you're, it's like a lottery ticket. But here's the thing. Here's the difference. The 2023 Bowman Chrome, that was purely entertainment, because I knew I was not making that was not a business purchase. Now, is the non-Cubs in my eBay store? Yes, 100%. But I knew it was going to be a losing cause, and it was. 2024 Bowman that I pre-ordered 3 boxes. Will that be a losing cause? I don't think so. It could be, because that's the chance you take when you rip. But going on history and what you can get at release, especially with Bowman, it's one of the best purchases at release if you get it in time. Last year, I got Bowman well ahead of time. Now, I think Topps Fanatics has tightened things up with their shipping, and you're not going to get it 5 days in advance, although I think some people have. But we'll see. And if I can get it, a couple days ahead of release, I can get those premiums when I rip and flip. That's the goal. That's the goal. But it's also fun for me. There is entertainment. If I lose money, it's like, well, I tried. I tried. But I'll stop talking. We'll get to a couple chats, and we'll go back to George's starred comment from the top here in a second. Jamie says, I'll get off my soapbox. Jamie says buying singles on eBay will always be the way to go. Cheaper than opening boxes and value, always available upon looking, if you're okay with that. And I understand people that like to rip. I like to rip. I don't want to just go buy singles on eBay because I like this is the gamble for me. I don't bet on sports. I don't go to the casino. I rip wax, but I don't rip that much wax. I'm able to contain it. I don't have a problem. I didn't go out and spend 10 grand on Bowman yesterday. I bought 3 hobby boxes. Because I know it might not be, I could lose my ass like I did in 2017. And that was only on 800. That was 12 boxes for $800. Yesterday, I bought 3 boxes and spent about $800. But I don't want, and that's the singles crowd. Like the singles crowd says, well, just go buy singles. But we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. We want to open wax. Max says, have your cake and eat it too scenario on your weather take. Yeah, I don't want this shit. I want sunny and warm. Johnny M says, good morning from the grocery store. Shipping and post office already done. Look at Johnny M already this morning. I don't know where you're at, but I guess at the latest it'd be about 9 a.m. if you're on the East Coast. Here I am. Just I haven't even finished my first cup of coffee. Johnny's already got his shipping and post office run done. Here I am sipping on my first cup of coffee. I've got 215 items to ship, orders to ship. It's going to be a long day. Brian says, Bowman has Pete Rose. Is that important? I honestly thought that was an April Fool's joke. I think Ryan Cracknell from Beckett had tweeted a screenshot of a retrofractor. Pete Rose retrofractor is in 2024 Bowman. I'm like, oh, April Fools. And I wasn't the only one to reply. And then Ryan commented, here's the link. And sure enough, on the Topps check, and I checked again yesterday on not April Fool's Day, Pete Rose is still on the checklist. I don't know if it's important, but I find it very interesting. I find it very, very interesting. So what does the future hold for Pete Rose? We'll see. James says Trey Lipscomb and Kobe Mayo and Zach Veen are selling crazy. I've been moving. Mine aren't selling crazy. Most of my stuff is paper. But I do have some Chrome. I'll have to go through and look at Chrome. Kobe Mayo has been a very steady sell for me for the last couple of weeks. In fact, I had it was just a base card from, I think 2020, probably 2022 Bowman draft, just a base paper. It was one of my 99-cent cards, and it was just like, I would sell it like crazy. And so I raised the price to $1.75, and it's still consistently selling. Trey Lipscomb, I have his first Bowman paper. I did ship a few yesterday, but it's not moving. I'm surprised it's not moving faster. I haven't moved much. If you mean Zach Veen from the Rockies, I haven't moved that I can recall very many Zach Veen. And I was thinking yesterday, it's like, I haven't really moved much Bowman, but as I was shipping yesterday, I am selling a lot of Bowman. I guess it's one of those where you don't really think about it. John Larson, what's up? I had my first 100 order day on Saturday. I absolutely can't see how you do that on a consistent basis. It literally took me 4.5 hours to pick and pack. Some things definitely wrong with my process. It's all about I know exactly. I was in that spot. It's got to be organization. My system works for me. Doesn't mean it's going to work for you or for somebody else, but my box 1 tab A, box 1 tab B, box 1 tab C, not only does it take it eliminates the time spent sorting and organizing, but it also eliminates extra time picking and packing. You just have to find your system. And the more you do it, the faster you will get, the more efficient you will be. You just got to find that. You just got to find your own efficiencies. For some people, my system will work for you. For others, their system, they might have a different system and it works for them and it wouldn't necessarily work for me. That dude from Duryea, what's up? Good morning. When you break 1 million Cubs, will you remember us that listened when you were nothing? I'll still be nothing. I'll just be nothing with 1 million Cubs cards. Right now, I'm just nothing with 999,928 Cubs cards. Cooter says, good morning. Once you see what an EF5 or baseball size hail does, you will take the snow. See, yeah, I don't want an F5, like a 1 that doesn't do much damage. Most insurance companies have stopped writing homeowners policies here because of tornadic weather. George says, I used to change my own oil until I moved to Korea. Steve's in the house. Did you like the Cubs Pyro show intro with the blue L on the field? That was interesting. The blue carpet. When I saw the video, because I wasn't watching, I think I was at the post office when I missed the opening stuff, and I saw a replay. I'm like, because I think somebody mentioned in the chat yesterday. I'm like, I don't know what that means. But then I saw the video. And I'm like, that's that. Look, like from an overhead view, it looks like shit. I'm wondering if they just did that for photo purposes. Like they got somebody on the ground taking photos. So it probably looks cool in a photo, but from a video and just watching, it looks like something you'd see at a high school baseball game. Sal Dougie's in the house. Good morning. Porter's here. What's happening? Team Kansas Cards. Good morning from cold ass Kansas. I'm over this shit. Me too. In cold ass Wisconsin. It sucks. George says, yeah, where is Low Roller Scratcher? Did you buy a Goodwill pallet with Bitcoin so he could list hockey and soccer? A lot of shitty hockey in my Goodwill pallet. Bitcoin, it's slumping, man. The other day it was 70. Was it 70? It was like 69,000 and it's down to 65,000. Where is Low Roller Scratcher? He's losing his ass on Bitcoin. Jamie says, are you saying they will complain no matter the situation? Blasphemy. Yes. That is what collectors do. If you, and I noticed this from Twitter, there could be, it's a dead ass day, but there will be something that gets collectors in their panties in a bunch. It usually has to do with tape. PWE shipping. Since eBay introduced the standard envelope, you don't see as many people complaining about cheap ass PWE shippers anymore. Tape is a big one. Investing, box prices, and then just drama. To some extent, prices go up when the demand goes up. When the demand goes up, the hobby gets bigger. Boom. Highlight it right here. Boom. Is Bowman overpriced? No, because it's selling out. And then the people that say it's overpriced because the breakers are buying it. Well, somebody's buying it. And why are the breakers buying it? Because they're selling breaks. And who's buying into breaks? People. I don't know. You can call them flippers or investors or gamblers or collectors. They're buying into breaks. So is it overpriced? No. The market sets the prices. You and me set the prices. Because I'm not the only person that bought Bowman yesterday. Other people did. Now, are some collectors priced out that can't afford $260 for a hobby box? 100%. 100%. But there's also collectors that can't afford a $100 hobby box. There's collectors that can't afford a $20 blaster box at Walmart. There's always going to be that. There is demand. There is demand for the product. And why is there in people? Well, it's just the breakers and the flippers. Well, money's being spent. Money's being spent. Tracy's heading out. We'll catch up later. Thank you for stopping in. George says, I love that answer and one that I give often. What's your most expensive card? I got no clue. What card has gone up the most in value? Got no clue. I just got cards and boxes that I look at. Yes. Yes. And it is weird. Like, I wonder if, and I think that's just because of the mainstream media attention that cards get. Like, my mother-in-law always says, like, when another $1 million sale is on the news, well, you've got a lot of, I bet you have $1 million. No, I don't. Well, how do you know? Because I know. I know what cards sell for $1 million and I don't have any of them. But like, I wonder if like stamp collectors, like, do you go to somebody's house and they're a stamp collector? Look at all my stamps. What's your most expensive stamp? Like, do people ask that? Like, do other hobbyists get asked that question as much as card collectors? Is anybody in the chat involved in another hobby to where you're watching YouTube videos or interacting on Twitter, Facebook, forums? Is that a thing? Like, if you collect bobbleheads, and I'm just somebody that doesn't, I mean, do I ask that question? Sometimes, yeah. Like, oh, check what because I'm curious, because I also do sell full time. So I'm curious, what's the market on this card? So do I ask it sometimes? Yes, absolutely. But I don't go to somebody's house and look at like their album collect. What's your most expensive vinyl? What's your most expensive bobblehead? I feel like it's just more in the card section, more in the card sector. Max says, you don't have the option to bet on sports, LOL. Right. Kyle says, it's interesting how you see so much about card collecting being a hobby and then so much about ROI. There's a good point. I think we all have different reasons for buying cards. That's the thing. It's like the collectors. Well, I'm a true collector, but then they're complaining about the return. Well, if you're a true collector, why do you care about the value that's in the box? Makes you go, George says, if I were going to rip, I would rip a cheap heritage product on discount prices, flagship or big league. And you can still have fun with those products. And I love the heritage products. And you can get heritage, like last year's heritage right now, because the ROI sucks. When box prices are low, that's because the ROI is low. Bowman is $260 because there's a lot of lottery tickets inside. And the market demands the prices. Brian, good morning. I collect packs, as I know I have never had the luck of the Irish. Can't lose if I don't open. There you go. Tea timer, top of the morning. Bought one box and happy not to spend more. Looking forward to the 1,000th card. Gonna be awesome this Friday. Stay tuned. Brian, what's up? Good morning. Jamie says an article got me on the first that Ohtani was proven to be the worst cheating gambler in history. My soul went dark for those short moments. Not funny. April Fools is on my shit list. Not as high as this snow. Mother Nature's number one on my shit list right now. Number 2 is April Fool's Day. George says, can you look at the hobby in terms of investment? Of course. Do I? No. Nothing wrong with either way. I agree. Herman in the house. What's going on? George was talking about it yesterday in the chat. I cracked up reading the comments when somebody said the pyro guy bought the stuff on Temu. Oh, that was funny. Yeah, I didn't understand the reference, but now I do. Harlan, good morning. Herman says, someone was poking the bear about investing on X yesterday. Oh, I'll have to log into my burner account and check that out. Johnny M says, Bitcoin is only slumping if you paid more than that. If you bought in the 20K area, you are fine. Or in like the 3K back during the pandemic, I was hoarding it back in, what was that? March, April of 2020. And then I dumped it. It hit, did I dump it 20 or 40? I think I dumped half at 20, and then I held on to half of what I was holding and sold at 40. And I don't regret it. I don't regret it, because then I would have had to wait 4 years for it to hit 70. So Johnny M says, if you can't afford a Lexus, you buy something else. That's how life is. I don't understand why people don't get. I feel like collectors feel entitled. Well, this is my hobby. I shouldn't have to pay $260. It should be cheap, and I should be able to afford it. No. Baseball cards are a business. Topps is not making cards. Fanatics didn't buy Topps because they wanted to give away baseball cards to collectors. No, it's a business. Dan says, yes, aquariums and toys. Do people question you? How much did you spend on that aquarium? The question would be, what's your favorite? And that's usually how I spin it. And I need to find a better answer, because here's how it always plays out. And I should have been onto this sooner. This is what always happens. So what's your most valuable card in that showcase? And I'm like, I really don't know. I don't follow prices. Once I buy it, I don't care, what the value is. But my oldest card is this, I've got a few of these 1887. Well, how much are those? It's like, I try to spin it in a different direction, and it just goes like, you would think the follow-up would be like, oh, wow, so what's the oldest card, or what's blah, 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 who made this, blah, blah, blah. No, it's, how much is that? That's how it always plays out. I don't think I've spun that question and it's ever gone where I want it to lead, away from price. It always comes back to, well, here's my oldest card. Well, how much is that one worth? My favorite card is the Ernie Banks rookie. Well, how much is that worth? Prices are all over the place in my other hobby, chickens. Do people complain about chicken prices? I bet. People ask the same in antiques and guns. So it's not just a card thing. Okay. Well, how much did that cost? Andy Mack collects concert posters. No, people do not ask, what's your most expensive poster? Okay, so concert posters, not a thing. Second most common question, I can't answer, what is your favorite card? Yes. They're all my favorite. They're all my children. I have so many favorites. I can't just pick one. Oh, it's still snowing. George says, I used to collect stamps and I didn't really know about prices, value, but I did study rarity. That's kind of how I look at my collecting now, more about rarity than price. Brian says, I like to know I've had a good deal buying what I bought, seeing the prices go up, even if it's my personal collection, but even if the price went down, I wouldn't care. Absolutely. Now, do I want my card prices to go up? Yes, 100%. But I don't monitor. It's like, well, how much is the Ernie Banks rookie worth now? I don't care. I mean, I do care, but I don't care, right? Sometimes I like to see, the one example that I did kind of follow was the David Bodie market back when his first Bowman came out, and it was a retail paper-only auto. And at release, with everything, and this is back in 2018, 2019, the David Bodie first Bowman paper auto out of retail was at like $25 at release. It's like, this is like a $5 to $10 auto. And now you'll probably find it in a dollar box. And I'm like, I'm not paying $25 for this because I valued it at 10. And maybe because I want one, I would buy it at a premium of what I thought was 15. So after a while, the prices did come down after release. And I think I paid like $12 for it shipped. And then, like a few weeks later, he hits a walk-off grand slam on Sunday Night Baseball, and that card's now worth $75. And it's like, the business part of my brain was like, sell that card and buy it back in 2 weeks for $12 because this is not going to last. It's not a $75 card. But the collector in me is like, no, it's my card. I'm going to keep it. I don't want to sell it. Like, that's not why I bought it. I bought it to keep it. And it was like this. I've got the devil on one side saying, sell, sell, sell. And I've got the angel on the other, keep, keep, keep. And I kept it. And yeah, I could have sold it for 75 and could have used that money to buy other Cubs and then bought the David Bodie back for $10, or I could have waited a couple of years and bought it back for $3. Brian says 73 people watching. Don't forget to hit the like button. We've got a lot on Twitter, about 100 people from Twitter watching. We've got 162 total viewers. So I know the Twitter viewers, I don't think, can hit the like button. Let me see. If you're watching on Twitter. No, I don't think you can. I think you have to actually go to the YouTube. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. George says, and when I speak of rarity, I don't mean graded rarity. Pop one, mother effers. None of that Shiite. Don't care about population counts. More like, this is a difficult card to find for sale. I hate pop counts. Oh, it's a pop 3. I don't care. Max says, I have a lot to say, but don't need to get fired up this morning. So I will just ask this. If I was willing to buy product X 5 years ago for a fourth of the price, why is it now not okay for me to be upset about the price today, especially if nothing in my situation changed? Well, here's the thing. It is okay for you to be upset, but you're in business. You're in this full time. You understand markets and demand. It's okay to be upset. It's okay not to be upset. But the reality is, in this instance, Bowman, the market demands the price. And that's with everything. Now, does it suck that we could go buy a gallon of milk 10 years ago for $3 and now, I don't know, how much is a gallon of milk today? $6? I don't know. Gas prices, like, everything goes up, and it's all, you know, in some instances it drops in price, but don't expect, from a card standpoint, don't expect card prices to go down anytime soon. And when they do go down, guess what? That means demand isn't there. And that is not good for the hobby, especially a lot of people here are resellers. And if you want prices of wax to go down, be prepared to go get a real job, because when there's lower demand, there's lower demand, and lower demand means less sales, and less sales means, shit, I can't do this full time anymore. I've got to go get a real job. Dan says you should have a frequently asked question on your website about your collection, and you can link it when needed. I think I do. Let me Google that. 1 million Cubs FAQ. 1 million cups. 1 million Cubs project. Tips for the beginning collector. I thought I had a frequently asked questions. Let's just do 1 million Cubs frequently asked. I'm pretty sure I did do a blog post. Apparently not. And if I did, it's not showing up on the old Google search. But yes, here. And if they come over to my house, look at my showcase. Here, scan this QR code. That'll take you to my frequently asked questions. That'll answer all the questions that you have. Cooter says TCDB is the best way to enjoy the hobby in a cost-effective manner. Have picked up over 1,000 Giants cards for the cost of postage and cards I didn't want. It's the closest thing to pure hobbying. I actually thought about, and I haven't done any trades on TCDB. I've logged some Cubs on there, but it's nasty out there, man. It's blowing, snowing and blowing. But in this latest Goodwill palette, which is filled with a bunch of junk, there's a lot of like Milwaukee Brewers police cards, which is in every palette. Like every single palette, there's Brewers police cards. And typically I just throw them in quarter boxes. But I do know that there are police card collectors that, especially like in some of the ones, usually it's a lot of the ones I find are Milwaukee, Capitol Police, I think is a pretty common one. But I found a couple like rare. I would think we're rarer because I would assume the smaller towns have smaller print runs on those police cards. So I'll have to go through, and I don't know how to look, like how to, I don't know. I would probably have to like log them, and do I want to do that for trade? And then it's like, well, here's some Cubs cards that I have like 27 copies of each. So I think I'll just continue sticking them in quarter boxes. Brian says, my boy asks how much is it worth? Then I feel embarrassed that it's not $1 million. He could care less how cool the card is. And that's kind of how I feel when asked the question. It's like, because I haven't paid for the collection that I have, and I have a lot of really nice cards. You can see a lot of them. But I don't think this is how much I don't care. I don't know how much I've spent on a lot of the cards. I know I've never spent $1,000 on a single card. I've spent $500 on a few cards. And a lot of what is in there is probably in the 100 to 500 range. I'm just trying to see. And unfortunately, a couple of the higher priced ones are not worth the 500. Like Gleyber Torres, I think I paid $450 for his first Chrome Auto. It was during the pandemic. It was long after it was released, but he was doing pretty well. And it's probably 100 to 150 now. And the Chris Bryant, I know the Affleck I paid $200 from one of my friends. The Morel I paid slightly under $200 for. I think the Bryant Chrome Auto was around $400, $450. I'm in Milwaukee this morning. Hardly any snow on the ground. How much snow do we have back in Madison? At least 6 inches, probably more. It sucks. It really sucks. Andy Mack says, the funny thing is, I have $1,000 plus piece of artwork hanging on my classroom wall. My students steal my laser pointer or other little shit. I'm glad they don't know how to comp on eBay. Max says, those Biden forgiveness bucks putting Van Gogh on classroom walls. Herman says, what does Herman say? I've been looking for the Braves police cards from the 80s. I bet if you can find Goodwill pallets in Georgia, there's a lot of Braves police cards in there. George says, you're about to spend $1,000 on a card on Friday to hit that $1 million. That dude from Duryea. Do you count errors or variations such as wrongbacks, blacklists, etc. as an additional card, or do you not have any to count? So, as a Cubs card, they all count. So I have 3,000 Ryan Sandberg cards. So those all count towards the $1 million. Any other way I catalog TCDB depends on how TCDB, and I think TCDB catalogs them as separate entities, which can be a pain in the ass because there's a lot like 80, like Topps Big, I think has different asterisk, the no dots from Don Russ. And those are all separate on TCDB. So when I'm logging cards, it's like, is this version or this version? It's like, shit, now I gotta look back and okay. So for the count, everything counts. Duplicates do count. That's the number one asked question. And people are like disappointed. Do you have any duplicates? Well, yes, I have a whole bunch of them. And then they're like, oh, so it's not 1 million cards. It's not 1 million unique cards. No, because there's only 215,000 unique cards in existence. So it's literally impossible. Orlando says 1 million Cubs needs to be a big boy card. It does, but I don't know. I am not in control of the 1,000,000th card. Can you believe that? I don't even know what the 1 millionth card will be. Although I didn't know what the 1,000th card or the 999,844th card was. So hopefully it's a big boy card. We'll see on Friday. Brian says, pulling that Ellie De La Cruz card made me want to rip more packs. We should have a rip party soon. I'm down. We've got, I'd like to do it for like a new release. Heritage comes out next week, and I still haven't decided if I'm going to buy. I need to decide in the next couple days so I can get it on release day, Topps Heritage. 36, says Dan. Andy Max says, I work with the artist, so I got the artwork as a gift and would never sell it. If I'd paid for it, there's no way I'd hang it in my classroom. I was just going to say, wow, $1,000 piece of art, and that's a ballsy move. Cooter says, the splat pattern on 90 Donruss is the worst to figure out for TCDB. Oh, shit. Oh, man. I haven't got to 90 Donruss yet. I've been kind of just picking, I've been cherry picking what I log on TCDB, and it's usually like serial numbers and like the better cards. Plus I have so many, and the reason because a card out of 99, I probably only have one of them, so it's just easier to boop, log. 1990 Donruss, I probably have 17,000 of them, so got to get them sorted. George says, all crap. He's going to get a card given to him by Sammy Sosa on Friday, probably a Mark McGwire and a Cubs uni. I don't think it's going to be given to me by Sammy Sosa, and it's probably not going to be Mark McGwire. Let's go back. Speaking of George, let's go back to George's comment that I started up here. We're going to go back to Bowman real quick, and then we'll wrap it up for the day. It's overpriced for someone like me, maybe. Oh, yeah. I think we kind of got to that. So I think I kind of talked out my feelings on Bowman and in the price. So there you go. That's what I had for today. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, visit my eBay store, 99centcards.com. 7 or more at regular price, and you'll save 25% off at checkout. Let's shill something else. How about Car Dealer Pro? Get 500 free scans from Car Dealer Pro when you use promo code CUBS. CUBS. When you sign up for any paid subscription, go to cardealerpro.com. Check it out. That's what I use. People ask, well, how do you list so many cards? I use Car Dealer Pro and my Ricoh 8170 feed scanner. So check it out, cardealerpro.com. 500 free scans if you use promo code CUBS and sign up for any paid subscription. All righty, that's all for today. Tomorrow is Thursday. And then Friday, the big day. No Hobby Evolution on Friday morning, but I will receive my 1 millionth Cubs baseball card. Stay tuned. Follow me on Twitter at 1millioncubs. I'll be tweeting out the 999,929th card. And then we're going to take a little leap. We got a little mail day. We're going to get even closer to that 1 million mark later today. So stay tuned for the count up. I guess it's not a countdown. We're not counting down. We're counting up to 1 million. So check it out. Like, subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow.